Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a little while since I made a book related video, so we're going to be doing that today. Um, Usually during this time I would have put up my monthly reading wrap up. However, I did not read a single book in June. Like, I did not pick a book, did not attempt to finish a book in June. So I don't have a monthly reading wrap up for you. And the reason that I didn't read a book was, well, actually, there were many reasons, but I think predominantly I was reading mindlessly. Like, I would just pick anything and everything up and I'd just read through it. And I found myself not enjoying reading as much as I did before. And I would finish about like 6 books a month, and that were like not very short books, very hefty, big books in a month, and I would not do anything else. That's really unhealthy. I mean, please don't be like that. So, June was the month where I sort of stopped reading. I mean, hit pause, and I started doing a lot of other things that I was ignoring, like my studies, and also creatively. I mean, I had not painted anything for a very long time, so I got back to that. I wanted to uh, be more. I wanted to also put out a social media for dental education, and that was something that I've been thinking of doing for such a long time, but I never got around doing that because all of my free time I was reading, and it had gotten to a point where it had become a bad habit instead of a productive good habit. So yeah, that's why I didn't read anything in June. So we're halfway through July and I've read 2 books. I am still not really enjoying it. Maybe it's because of the books that I picked up. So I really need to rethink and reevaluate this whole reading scenario, and probably like make a planner for my reading, pick up books that I will like. And I'm still not used to my short hair. I don't know how to style it. It's just, I don't know why I cut it. Actually, I know why I cut it, but I can't deal with this. And then every time I tie it, I have this weird kink. I don't know. Okay, I think we've rambled enough. Have we rambled enough? Is there anything else that I need to ramble about? It started raining as soon as I started trying to film, so I hope that the rain sounds are not picked up by the microphone, because then it'll just sound like really bad static. What else do I need to rant about? So yeah, I mean, that's it. I think I'm going to try to pick up better books next time, because the books that I've read this month, I've read the first book that I read was okay, it was good. The second book was really bad. Anyway, okay, let's just get into the video. So this video is a mid-year, what is it called? Mid-year book freakout tag. Yeah, it's a mid-year book freakout tag. I can't remember the names of these tags. So this tag apparently has been around in the book YouTube community for quite some time, and since I'm very new to this, I just found out about it this year, like maybe a week ago. So I wanted to make this video because it's very interesting. So what this tag is there are a couple of questions, around 12 to 13 questions, and these questions will help sort of wrap up what your reading experience has been through the months. So basically that's what it is. So I've picked up 12 questions because I checked out a couple of videos and not everybody has the same questions. Some of them are a little different, a little modified. So I've picked up 12 questions that I really liked, and 12 questions that sort of made sense to me, and I will just be answering those 12 questions here. So the first question in this tag is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? Or what is your favorite book this year? My favorite book that I've read, hands down, is The House in the Cerulean Sea. It is by an author named TJ Klune. So I have talked about this book a lot, I think. I've recommended this book to everybody. I think everybody needs to read this book. And the reason why it's my favorite book is, number one, it's fantasy. I love fantasy books. That is my genre. And the second thing about this book is it's about found families. It's about finding love in a very unexpected place. a very unexpected scenario. And this book is not tacky. I know that it might sound tacky when I say it that way, but this book is just so wonderful. It's like a warm hug, and I think everybody needs to read it. It is a very, very happy book. So this book follows our protagonist, and his name is Linus Baker. He is a middle-aged man, a grumpy man with no friends, and he works in this department that is in charge of magical youth. So in this world, there are children and adults who have magical powers, and so he is assigned these cases, and he has to go into orphanages that house these magical kids, and he needs to make sure that everything is up to date, that they're being treated well, or that the orphanage is functioning properly. What did I say? The orphanage is functioning properly, all of that. He has a very, very lonely life. He does not have anybody in his life as such. He lives alone with his cat. One day at work, he's called by extremely upper management. So now these are the bosses, and they hand out very special cases, or like classified cases, dangerous cases to very selected and very efficient caseworkers. So what this case is that there is an island where there is an orphanage, and that orphanage is supposed to house 6 very dangerous orphans along with the caretaker. So he does not know anything about this case until he reaches the said island. So he's given this classified case file, and he has to go there, and these 6 children are believed to sort of bring about the end of times, like very dangerous people, etc., etc. So he goes there to check if everything is all right, if they are as dangerous as people believe them to be, and if so, extremely upper management will shut down the orphanage, and God knows what will happen to the orphans, right? And at this point, even Linus Baker does not know what happens to the orphans in the orphanage that he has shut down because of his highly efficient case report. Yada yada yada. So all of that happens, and he goes into this island. Things are not what they seem to be. The caretaker is not... how do I put it? The caretaker is not what he seems to be, and the children are just so amazing. I mean, so I don't want to spoil this for anybody, because when I read the book, I knew nothing about it. I did not know who the 6 children were. I didn't know about anything. I didn't even read like the synopsis of the book. I just went into it blindly, and oh my god, that is what made this even better. So all I want to say now that I've said quite a lot about this book is, please read it. You are going to absolutely love this book. This is my favorite book. It's just filled with so much love and so much joy. There's a little bit of there are parts that are a little sad, but all in all, this book is just wonderful. I think you're going to love it. This is one of the most amazing books that I've read so far. In my 27 years of existence, this is one of my favorite books. The second question in this tag is the best sequel that you have read this year. So now the thing is, I am a little picky about the books that I read. I usually tend to stay away from series and trilogies or duologies because number one, it's a commitment, and number two, usually the sequels are not really good. And Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo is a sequel to Six of Crows. I read both of them this year back to back because it's that good. So Crooked Kingdom follows a band of misfits, and it is it is so well written. They have to pull off these like crazy heights and break people out of like high security prisons, and it's just so amazing because the characters are so different. So there are 6 characters, all of them absolutely amazing, 6 main characters, and through these 2 books, Leigh Bardugo has sort of made us fall in love with these characters. And Crooked Kingdom was very, very fast paced. There were so many things happening at the same time, but it did not feel exhaustive in a negative way. it was just so exciting to read and want to know what happened next. So it was great. It was great. I made an entire video ranting about how much I love Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So I'm going to link it. You can go watch it. But yes, I mean, that's my favorite sequel this year. The third question is a new release that you want to read but haven't yet read. Anyway, The Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell is the third book of Simon Snow trilogy. I think it's called the Simon Snow trilogy. That book I need to read. I mean, I have absolutely loved the first two books. So yes, that is a new release that I am dying to read. I will probably start reading it tomorrow. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release of the second half of this year? So, have you read Aristotle and Dante, Discover the Secrets of the Universe? If you haven't, you are missing out on one of the most beautiful things in the world. So, Aristotle and Dante, like the first book, is sort of a coming of age novel, and it is a romantic novel. It is beautiful. It's just so beautifully written. And I read this a couple of years ago. I was not aware that a sequel was sort of in the works, but its sequel, Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, I think that is what it is called, is being released in October. Is it being released in October? Anyway, it's being released in either September or October, and I can't wait to read it. So that is my most anticipated release of this year. I'm sure there are other great books coming out, but that book is going to breathe back life into my life. At this point, I forgot how many questions we've done, but the next question is, what was my biggest disappointment? So, like I said, I love fantasy novels, and usually when I read a book, I don't like to sort of read what it is about. I look at the ratings. If I have a vague idea about the book, I don't even need to know how many characters they are, what genre it is. If I just have like a vague idea, that's how I read, because anything is a spoiler. So this month, July, I picked up The Priory of the Orange Tree. Now, mind you, this book is huge. It's like about 800 pages, I think, and I had the audiobook, so it was 23 hours, and I knew it was a large book, and that is the reason why I was putting off reading it for such a long time. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I haven't read anything last month. Let me just pick this up. Let me just read it finally, and it's an audiobook, so I can just listen to it while I'm doing my chores. Oh my lord. What was that accent? Oh my lord. I was so disappointed in this book because of the hype surrounding it. Everybody seemed to love this book, and I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's a good book. People will love it, but personally for me, it was such a disappointment. See, I picked this book up because it has dragons. That is the only reason I picked it up. It has a dragon in the front cover, and any book with dragons, they're always good. I'm obsessed with dragons. But this book was bad, and I'll tell you why this book was bad. So, first of all, the first thing that I did not like was the characters had a very it's written through the point of views of all these different characters, and it takes place in this kingdom sort of, and then so you have like the south, the north, the east, and the west. So that's how it is narrated, and it got so confusing. And see, I have read and I have listened to audiobooks with multiple characters and multiple point of views, and it never gets so confusing or like doesn't feel weird. But this book felt really, really weird from the first few chapters, and I am so disappointed in myself that I went through with it. I mean, usually when I don't like a book, I just don't read it. But why did I read this book? Why did I finish it? God knows. So yeah, the first thing was the point of views, very, very, very confusing. The second thing, There are so many characters. There are so many characters, and if you and then the author just tries to sort of tell us everything about the character. So if there are like 10 characters and you're trying to tell us the life story, the past, the present, the future, their dreams, their nightmares, all of that, it gets very, very, very cramped and you don't enjoy it at all. So that's the other thing that I did not like. Too many characters with too much to tell, too many stories, too many things, and it just felt like it was too short for such a long book. I think if this book was a trilogy, it would have been so much better. So that is the second thing that I did not like about this book. The third thing that I did not like about this book was I thought that the book was needlessly long. Like, the plot sometimes did not make sense, and there were so many subplots within the plot. And I get it, it's exciting to have many stories within one big story, but it was just, I didn't like it. It was not well executed. I think I really didn't like it. I should not have picked it up just because of the hype surrounding it, and I should not have let my love for dragons mislead me. There are dragons, but no. I was disappointed in the book, and I was disappointed in myself for finishing the book, so that's like a double disappointment. The rain is just getting heavier, and I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can't hear it. So, okay, the next question is the biggest surprise. Now, when I tell you that this was a surprise, I mean a shock. I was shocked. So, in a very good way, in an absolutely amazing way. So, wait, what was I talking about? Yes, the biggest surprise. So, I love Neil Gaiman. I mean, his books are amazing, gold tier books. And I wanted to read The Sandman. And then I found it on Audible. So I downloaded it. I bought it. I bought it, and then I was not prepared. You guys, I was not prepared. So I got it, and then I put on my earphones. I remember I was sitting in bed doing something, and suddenly I hear James McAvoy. And then I realized that it is a friggin' dramatized version of The Sandman. Now, dramatized version basically means that instead of a narrator just narrating the lines or the story or reading out the book to you, a dramatized version has all of these different casts playing different characters as they would probably in a movie, and they have all these like sound effects, and it's just mind-blowing. So I loved it so very much. I love mythology, and besides that, I love Neil Gaiman. He is the freaking narrator of this audiobook. James McAvoy, the characters, the cast is perfect. The cast is perfection. The narration is perfection. The storyline is perfection. So, yeah. So that was my biggest shock. The next question is, or statement is, new favorite character. So like I mentioned that my favorite book was The House in the Cerulean Sea. My favorite character, the character that I fell in love with and I would protect with my life and I would want as, like, if I could exchange my sister for that character, I would do that. And his name is Lucy, and he is in The House in the Cerulean Sea. And he is just the best character. Yeah. I don't know why I was doing that. But Lucy from The House in the Cerulean Sea is my new favorite character. And if you listen to what I'm saying, and if you read the book and do yourself a favor, I think you're going to fall in love with Lucy as well. The next question is favorite new author. So I'm taking this to be an author who just released the first novel, right? So Ocean Vuong has written this book, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. So this is a book, it's actually a letter written by a young Vietnamese immigrant to his mother, and his mother is illiterate, she cannot read. So this book is written, it's basically about his relationship with his mom, his grandmom, his relationship with this boy that he falls in love with, his health, his mental health, and this trauma that is passed down from his grandmom to his mother and now to him. So it's about generational trauma, it's about war, politics. It's just so good. It's just so sad, and it'll make you feel things. It's, if you like poetry, please do read it. I would highly recommend this book. Not to everybody, but if you're someone who likes poetry, if you like to read something that is not very straightforward, you have to read between the lines. Yeah, Ocean Vuong is my favorite new author so far this year. The next question is the most beautiful book that you bought or were gifted this year. So I don't buy a lot of books, contrary to what people believe. I read a lot of ebooks and I borrow a lot of books. I don't buy a lot of books. I buy books only if I want to own them. We really wanted to buy the collector's edition. We read it, right? We read the ebooks, and we waited for the collector's edition to come back in stock to buy it. So that book is beautiful. So this is the Six of Crows. It's been wrapped up very lovingly because mold. So this is the Six of Crows, and this is the Crooked Kingdom. It is just the most beautiful book, don't you think? And it's not just the outside. The outside is very minimalistic, royal, regal. However, the inside, let me show you something. It has these like illustrations at the back. Can you imagine? Oh, where is it? I mean, look at this. Isn't it like beautiful? Look at these cuties though. Look at these cuties. It is so beautiful. I can't get over it. Look at this. I'm going to wrap this up because it's raining really heavily now and I need to wrap it up. I think it's too long anyway. So the last question is, what are the books that you need to read by the end of this year? First, see, when I read this question, I was like, Prerna, you need to finish your dentistry books. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy making this video. I'm not gonna lie. But I always enjoy making videos about books, so there's that. Okay. I don't know. Do I still have like I don't know what that hair is called. Like, do I still look like a mushroom from Mario Brothers? You know that mushroom? Bye guys. I'm gonna go.